Elise, the number 3 Republican in the House, writing that the president needs to stop passing the buck. She says families deserve certainty, and no family in the greatest country in the world should have to scrounge for essential products for their babies. There's no more time to waste. Let's bring in House Republican Conference Chair Elise. Great to have you here today. I know that you speak from this personally as well. You've got a new baby at home. It's hard to believe we've gotten to this place in this country and that it's not getting fixed faster. So why is this not happening? And is the Biden administration doing enough to fix the problem and get formula back on the shelves?
The answer is no, Sandra. The Biden administration is not doing enough to get baby formula back on shelves. And look, you point out I do come at this from a personal perspective. I'm the newest mom in Congress. I am the proud mom of my 9-month-old Sam. He is formula fed, and I will tell you, I've been hearing from new parents across the country, or just parents of babies who have struggled to get access to the products they need to feed their children. Where did Joe Biden go wrong? First of all, they dismissed House Republicans' call to urgently address this issue. And what's more, we now know that Joe Biden's own FDA knew this was going to be a shortage back at the end of last year. And what did they do? They did nothing. The President of the United States did nothing. His administration did nothing. I reached out to the FDA this past February, and we did not hear back from them until May. I've introduced legislation, the Babies Need Formula Now Act, to immediately address the FDA's malfeasance, and yet Democrats refuse to hold a vote on that bill on the floor. So we needed answers yesterday. We need those shelves filled immediately. House Republicans are going to continue to hold this administration accountable and solve this crisis.
It really struck me when the White House was asked, the press secretary the other day, for an update on the baby formula shortage in this country and didn't have one in that moment. You would think there would be an update daily, if not multiple times a day, because it is still a very real crisis and empty store shelves still exist across the country. Meanwhile, that is just part of the supply chain inflationary crisis that this country faces today. We just got a Federal Reserve rate hike decision. You know, Congresswoman, they're trying to tackle inflation. Some arguing it's a little too late to try to get a grip on this, but it is the reality Americans face today. What is the Republican solution? That's a common Democratic talking point now. Well, Republicans seem like they have all the answers. If you regain control in November, which is looking more and more likely that is to happen, how do Republicans tame inflation? What's the plan?
Well, first of all, we rein in this reckless tax and spend agenda that we've seen under unified Democrat leadership. They have spent trillions and trillions of dollars. If you look at the start of Nancy Pelosi's term with Joe Biden in office, they spent multi-trillion-dollar bills of taxpayer funds. And the vast majority of that did not even go towards COVID relief. So it further compounded challenges that we are facing today. When it comes to where this administration went wrong, you and I both remember not that long ago, this administration was dismissive that inflation was even a crisis. Yeah. They said it was temporary. They said it was transitory. They've continued to pass the buck. So Republicans are going to balance the budget to have fiscally responsible economic policy when we earn back the House. In addition, we want to unleash American energy independence. Compounding with the inflation issue is the fact that we are seeing skyrocketing costs when it comes to our energy. And people feel that every single time they try to, fill up their cars at the gas pump. The prices go up and up. They've nearly doubled, or actually doubled, since Joe Biden took office. So we want to invest in American energy rather than what Joe Biden is doing, which is going to different countries around the world with authoritarian leaders to try to import. We should be producing energy here.
All right.
Those policies will go a long way to rein in this inflation.
All right. So much I want to get to here, and I want to get now to this big win. The first Mexican-born woman to serve as a Republican in Congress, Maya Flores. I knew your PAC endorsed her. You were among the first members of Congress to endorse her. I looked back. This was you months ago, April, I believe. There's no better candidate, you said, than Mayra Flores to help deliver the first devastating blow to the Biden-Pelosi agenda and kick off the red tsunami, you said, that will sweep across southern Texas. Well, that certainly was seen last night. What was your reaction to her win, Congresswoman?
Well, my reaction to Myra's win is she earned this. She outworked her opponents, and most importantly, she had a message that resonated with Texas voters in that district. They are tired of the failing Democrat status quo. Voters do not want to be taken for granted, and Myra made history not only as the first elected official in Congress to have been born in Mexico and legally immigrated to the United States, but she's the first Hispanic Republican woman ever elected in the state of Texas, and also it's the first Republican to win that district in 100 years. So it's a wake-up call for Democrats that voters are not buying what they are selling. And Myra ran on her personal story, but on her commitment to always standing up for her constituents and being a strong voice for the United States of America. But she earned this, Myra. I was proud to endorse her, but no one else earned this other than Myra Flores, and we're so proud of her.
Congresswoman, what is your takeaway for former President Donald Trump's influence in your party when it comes to these recent races as we head to the midterm elections? What role will he play?
He's going to play a really important role. We're working as one team to make sure that our voters turn out. And I will tell you, voters across this country have buyer's remorse for those that voted for Joe Biden because they're seeing the devastating impacts of his policies, and they were doing a lot better under President Trump's leadership. So we have an opportunity to win just not Republicans, but independents and Democrats. That's how I've been able to win my district, and that's a recipe for success elsewhere in the country. An example is Myra Flores' district. We worked as one team, both with people that voted for President Trump, but also earning back those voters who maybe they voted for Joe Biden, but they see the inflation, they see the skyrocketing energy. So I'm proud to be a part of President Trump's team, and I'm also proud to be leading the House Republicans as their conference chair to make sure that we are focusing on the issues that matter every single day to the American people.
I just want to run this by you. This was Politico's takeaway from what we saw last night. I'll put it up on the screen for our viewers. Republicans can survive crossing Trump, but rarely can they survive being anti-Trump. To that you say what, Congresswoman?
Well, ultimately, you're held accountable to the voters, and particularly among Republican primary voters, there is no more popular figure than President Trump. The data backs that up. We've seen that case across these primaries in the country. But ultimately, voters want members of Congress who deliver results and who represent their views and who give them a seat at the highest level. That's what we've seen in terms of these races across the country. A
lot of speculation, finally, about your political future, Congresswoman. Care to break any news here today? You've got a lot of these outlets even speculating you might be former President Trump's running mate in 2024.
Well, I'm focused on the historic task at hand, which is we need to save this country from the devastating destruction that we've seen under far-left unified government. I'm focused on representing my district, the constituents in New York's 21st Congressional District. That's always my #1 focus. I work for them, and I'm also honored to serve as the House Republican Conference Chair to really unify our members to make sure that we're talking about issues and introducing policies that actually will improve their daily lives, that will address the inflation crisis, that we will make sure that we are unleashing American energy independence, that we will support our law enforcement, secure our border, have strong national security, and we need to fire Nancy Pelosi once and for all this November. I am laser focused on that, and that's what I'm going to do every single day between now and November.
I've got to leave it there, but it's fair to say you left that door open?
Well, I'm honored for any mention, and that's very nice, but I'm really focused at what the task is at hand. But thanks for asking, Sandra.
Great to have you here, Congresswoman. Thank you very much, and hope to have you back soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.